All right, everybody, welcome to the Coach Peanut and the Nutty Bunch Sports Talk Show. I'm your host, Coach Peanut, and tonight we normally talk about sports. We're going to take a little break. Has to do with sports anyway, so we got a very good friend of mine, personal trainer Cody Penn, here with us tonight, and we're going to go to him in just a second. I want to make sure we thank our sponsor, Blue Collar Media Group, for putting this show on tonight, and I got a short little video we're going to play just to show everybody a little bit about them.
Well, that guy is just literally yeeting himself around here, okay? Hey, bruh!
That's it. Okay.
There you go, Gone Tower's dead.
Oh, fair.
Get him.
Got him.
Beautiful.
Why are the fireworks still shooting at me? Is this entertainment for the penguins?
I'm going, Daddy.
Oh my god, I missed!
You fucking threw it on the wall.
Dude, shut up! I know!
You threw it on the wall!
All right. So, Cody,
good talking
we're
to
going to it's great talking to you. I haven't got to see you forever. I mean, we talk all the time on Facebook, and everything.
We used to run the Y, didn't we? It's been a while since I've been there.
I know. That's been a long time and many injuries ago.
yeah, right. Yeah, I can relate.
Yeah. So I know a lot of people, we've got people in here from England. I've got people from Wisconsin that's always in here. I see them already in the chat in here.
Right.
We got people all over. So not a lot of people really know Waverly, Ohio, or Piketon, Ohio. So I've got a little video in here that I want everybody to be able to see, kind of showing who you are and what you're about here real quick, okay?
Sounds good, man. Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Love that video.
All I can think watching that is how many bones I would break trying to do the walking on the weights like you did. It's just
it's funny because when I was in the 5th grade, I was probably 5'3", 205. I was completely overweight. Didn't take care of myself at all, and I could do that. It's just something you're born with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not something you can really learn, but
No.
yeah, it's helped me out a lot in competitions for sure because it
I bet.
comes in handy. I like that. That got me pumped up to want to compete again. So thank you for making that.
So here's the one I was talking. We got one from Wisconsin in here. She's a Packers fan, so she's.
They had a good weekend. If they get a kicker,
they need a kicker. That's for sure.
Well, the Bengals do too. So
they both do. So take us back, Cody. Let's hear Cody's story here. Let's hear what you're all about.
I was born in a small town called Raritan, Ohio, from a very hard-working middle-class family. I'm only child. My dad, up until the day he died, he was working every day. The only time I really got to see him is when he came home on the weekends or Friday night football when he'd leave work early to come watch me play. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the way it was. I understood. But, yeah, I was basically my mom the whole, she's still alive, thank God. Big part of my life. I wasn't really into fitness or athletics until I was probably in the 7th or 8th grade. I mean, that's why, because Lane, my son, he's just fishes. I mean, he don't play sports that much. But I'm not one of those parents that's going to be like, I want you to play this when you're 8 or 7 years old. You do what you want up until, you figure out what you want to do. So that's become very vital for him. I mean, and like I said, with mental health, like I've struggled with, depression and anxiety since I was as long as I can remember, probably 7 or 8.
Yeah.
And I can start to see the signs of that coming to him. That's why I want him to get more active outside. So for at least an hour a day, I just make him get sunlight. And I think that's important to get. And I still make sure I do that once a day because, during the weekend, I'm working 14-hour shifts and I'm never outside. And I notice my mood's a lot worse, when I'm inside. So.
Stay off the phone and all the negative stuff.
Stay off the phone. I mean, there's a time and place for it, but I mean, you can make little tweaks and changes in your life that could absolutely just make a complete 180. I mean, apparently, when it comes to fitness, people think you have to go to a gym and work out for 2 hours in the dark, or follow a routine. Most of what I do is outside. I mean. In a driveway, and the only time I go back to a gym is during the winter when it's too cold to do anything outside. Right. But COVID has changed everything. I mean,
I was getting ready to say that. Yeah,
I watched that video. I mean, not to go off track with my early life, but like COVID, like you posted that video, and you see me doing the handstand walks in an empty arena. 2 years, that was kind of a bummer because the year before that it was a packed house.
Oh yeah,
that's why
I've seen some of your competitions. It's amazing.
Yeah, I mean it was amazing, and I realized that fitness is a lot better when you have people rooting you on, and that's
pushing you on, cheering you on, and
there's a place to do it alone, but and overall, I mean, you want that atmosphere.
Yeah.
So that's part of the reasons why I stopped going to the CrossFit gym I was going to is because during COVID, I mean, I was quarantined, so I just bought $5,000-$6,000 worth, what was there. So I just do it at home now. I mean, I made a nice little gym out of my garage. So
I see you keep adding on to it.
Yeah. As long as I have credit cards,
Yeah, that stuff's not cheap. That's true.
No, it's not. But there'll be a time where I compete again. Like I'm just now getting to where I'm healthy. My shoulder, I tore it. CrossFit, like it's a love-hate relationship. I do that still with some of and I'll get into like the routines I do. I don't teach like Olympic weightlifting. Like if you see a lot of CrossFit videos on Instagram where it's like it's parodies, people's making fun of what they do, and some of that is ridiculous. Like I don't think you should do like Olympic weightlifting for high reps, low weight, because you're just bound to tear a shoulder muscle or a bicep. I mean, it happens to everyone. CrossFit's not an exercise; it's sport. I mean, you just can't go in there one day and be like, well, I run 2 miles a day, so I'm going to go to the CrossFit. You have to learn a completely different aspect of fitness. And I mean, it's 5 years and counting where I'm still learning. So, but I still do a lot of that. And, I encourage people to do that. The people who taught me, to coach me, Karen and Scott, I mean, they were a huge part of my life, especially when Dad died. I mean, I was there every day. And I went through a bad divorce. I mean, not to get into that, but I mean, I was living in a CrossFit gym for probably a year, and
try to relieve some stress.
Oh, and you have no idea, it saved my life.
Yeah.
So I couldn't thank CrossFit Incognito enough. I mean, that was in Chillicothe, Ohio, by the way. So yeah, that pushed me past the boundary and gave my confidence back up. Competed a few more times, and then COVID happened.
Yeah.
And that's put a damper on a lot of things because there's new waves coming. People scared. They don't want to get near people who sweat.
Right.
But in reality, that's what you need to do. I mean, that's going to give you antibodies. It's going to raise your immune system. You can't just wear a mask all the time and hide behind it. That's what people seem to be doing, and it's going to put gyms out of business. I mean, I'm surprised it didn't happen last time. That's a lot
more than just gyms. I mean, look at all the places that have closed.
Small businesses. There's so many places. I have so many friends in Chillicothe who have small businesses. They barely hung on, or they didn't hang on.
So like movie theaters, things like that. People are just scared to death to go into that. I mean, I loved going to the movies, but it's just
And Lane, he's in the second grade, and they all have to wear masks right now.
Oh,
But
I know.
why is it that in college football games, none of them? I mean,
100,000 people in a stadium.
it's just offensive. So what I tell people
Yeah.
is, if you come to my gym, I mean, it's not really actual affiliated gym where I follow CDC guidelines, although it is
Right.
sanitary.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't do monthly memberships. It's one-on-one. You go by the session. It's
Mhm.
always clean. I'm not going to make you wear a mask. Like I said, I work weekends, so my schedule is basically Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and sometimes Friday. And they just get a hold of me on Facebook, or they
Mhm.
call me at my phone, and I'll give them my number in a little bit. But
Sure.
I've helped a lot of people. I mean, there's been so much, like we talked mental health before the show started. What happened with Sam and my dad, and I mean,
Yeah.
COVID's almost like in the same way of people just building up anger and depression and everything in their houses because they can't go anywhere.
Mhm.
They're going to lose their job, or they think they might lose their job. So for a lot of people, like, fitness has saved them. I mean, you need endorphins. If
Yeah.
you're not going to be on, like, I was on antidepressants for a long time, and I realized that sweating and just jogging a mile a day can replace that. So I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
that got me off that. And sleep, I've always been an insomniac, especially after Dad died. But
Yeah.
just work out and 5 hours before you want to go to bed, and you have no idea how much of a difference it is just to go
Oh yeah.
outside and sweat for 15 or 20 minutes. So I mean,
Oh yeah.
it's crucial. People think you have to, like, they look at my transformation and they think it's it has been a long process, and I've done it naturally. But mostly what's pushed me is just wanting to stay sane. I
Mhm.
mean, the problem with fitness is it's a fad. Like, some clients come to me and they say, I want to look good for a wedding. I
Right.
want to look good for two. I want to look good for one night, and I want to get a six pack, and I want to get shredded in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I can't
In
do
3
that.
weeks. Yeah.
Can't do that. And
Yeah.
I almost tell them that, and they're almost offended by it. But it's like,
Yeah.
what do you do? So all right, we'll give it a try. So 2 weeks
Yeah.
go by, they barely make any progress because they just
And
got
they give up.
started, and they give up. And
Yeah.
that's why New Year's resolutioners, they start out after
Yeah.
Christmas. They might last a month, and you don't see them again, and it's sad. I
And it
mean,
was the
because
same way at the Y when we were there. Like it was like you couldn't even go to the gym in
could not
January
move,
and
could
get a
not move.
machine. February, you're better. It's just
April and March, it's empty. I mean,
yeah.
and that's why I say fitness is a fad, but you want it to be a lifestyle. And
Yeah.
and I've, for the past 16 years, I've made it a lifestyle. I have expert rating certification, which I've got it here somewhere. It's fairly, I
Nice.
mean, it's inexpensive. I mean,
Mhm.
mostly what I teach has been hands-on. I'm not very good with anatomy and all that. I know where all your muscles are, but I don't know all the specific, terminology for it. I mean, I know how to build muscle, and I know how to, get you healthier and to a better lifestyle,
Mhm.
mentally and physically. But I mean, the certification itself was only about $300 and probably 8 weeks of, studying, which I already
Mhm.
knew everything pretty much. So, I mean, it's worked wonders, and I've helped a lot of people, and that's the reason I like doing it. Is when I was at S&S training people, it kind of
Mhm.
got annoying because you'd have a client call 5 minutes before you were supposed to train them, saying, "Well, I can't make it today." So I mean, that's frustrating.
Yeah.
But the people who I have helped, Joe Williams, Zach Skaggs, they both had disabilities, physical disabilities.
Mhm.
Just and then Zach, I know him from a long, I've trained him. I think it's been 5 or 6 years ago, and I trained him for about a year. Good guy. He's from Waverly. He had a bad car accident where he had left side weakness in his body,
Mhm.
and he couldn't move his left arm, couldn't really walk. Just he could walk, but I mean, just bad limp.
Mhm.
But he was in his house all the time, just up, just giving up. So I mean, he
Yeah.
just 1 hour a day, he just decided, his mom got a hold of me on Facebook one day, saying, see what you can do with him. I'm like, absolutely. And he likes rock music like I do, so we had a common bond, and he's
Mhm.
just a heck of a guy. So he comes the first day, and I put him through just a minor workout, and he woke up the next day more motivated, more energized, had
Yeah.
had more of a purpose, and just that little tiny hour in the day completely changed him. So he ended up going to another gym after that with a different trainer who I really like, Dusty Burton. I
Mhm.
mean, he lost probably 60 pounds since he come to me up until now.
Mhm.
Can started almost playing guitar again, getting left hand movement back. And that ain't from, working out. That's just from realizing, hey, this is not over. I can do this
Yeah.
again.
It's probably a lot of mental.
It's mental. It absolutely is. And I mean, it made his whole routine for the day change from laying in bed all day to, hey, get out and just walk. And you have no idea how much that can, that can benefit you.
I think it's so easy to, well, for me, I mean, it was like, when you get work all day long and then you come home and you got to eat dinner, and then you sit down and you eat.
Life happens.
And then you're like, do I want to go to the gym or do I want to sit here and watch, Walking Dead, whatever? It's like,
there's many days I don't want to move. I mean, I come home from, working. So that's
But if you have someone like you pushing you to get your ass to the gym instead of sitting there, that helps out a lot.
A lot of people I train are on my level of fitness. I mean, they just need a little push, or they they learned something that they thought they knew but they didn't. I mean, it just fitness is a family of people who we all teach each other something different. So you don't have to be a newbie to get trained, but you don't have to be advanced to be trained. There's so many levels. I've trained people who's come here, I think 370 pounds was 5'8", 370. I mean, a big girl. I mean, motivated though. Probably lost 50 pounds in a 6-month span just by changing a few things, dude. And nutrition, I seen that was one of the questions. It's vital. But I mean, I wish I could teach more about nutrition, but I'm not very good at it. I just know that there's a lot of gimmick in the market right now. Like Kroger's organic section is totally if you look at the content of some of like the vegan burgers, like people want to go vegan. They think meat's bad. That's not necessarily the case. Too much meat's bad. Too much red meat's bad. If your body don't adjust well to vegan food, you might have to, you might be, a carnivore dieter. I mean, that's just the way it is. Everybody's body is different.
Oh yeah, there's not a one size fits all in a diet, really.
Yeah, that's why I've never, followed a diet. I mean, I just follow the guidelines of paleo, which is just eating fruits, nuts, lean meats, and greens, and just stay away from fried food. Don't drink pop, and keep your fat. I mean, a lot of people, they give up real quick because they follow these crash diets right off the bat. Like they're eating terrible 7 days a week, and they just cold turkey it completely, and it don't work. You can't do that. You're going to run yourself.
Everybody wants the quick fix or that magic pill that you can take. Just there's so many gimmicks out there that's just like, drink this and you'll lose 10 pounds overnight or whatever. It's like
Avocare, that was a big one, and I try to tell people and they went bankrupt. Well, they didn't go bankrupt, but they got sued. They got in trouble for being a pyramid scheme.
And a lot of those things are just because they're limiting your calories so much. You're thinking that the product's actually working, but they're starving you.
The good thing about a company like that is it is a family, so they do motivate each other. I mean, and they come together and they sell it together and they keep track of each other. But as I said, it's overpriced, simple supplements that you should be getting in your diet regardless. You shouldn't have to buy any of that because it should be in your diet.
Right.
Now, there's a big misconception that if you want to lose weight and get toned, you need to lay off carbs, and that's not true. I mean, at a certain time it is. Like, you don't want that late at night, 2 a.m. You don't want to eat a baked potato. You know what I mean? But after a workout, if you want to recover and if you want to restore the glycogen in your muscles, you need a fast digesting carb right off the bat, because everyone thinks protein. That's second. Carbs by far. That's what you need first if you want to grow at all, if you want to get any results at all. So I take a carb supplement. I mean, like waxy maize or
now, see, I've always heard, like, I'm glad you mentioned that, because everybody's protein shakes or protein, everybody's huge on that.
Yeah, you get a lot of that in your diet. And that's probably the only thing I follow is get my protein in grams per pound. So I weigh 210 pounds. I want about 210 grams of protein when I'm really, really pushing myself. But, a lot of people track macros, and I don't agree with that necessarily, because for some people, absolutely. But a lot of people, they go on that strict, like we just talked about. Everybody's body's different. So why would you want to track something that's on a computer and on a formula that everyone's going to follow when your body and your immune system and your metabolism and how many calories do you burn a day without knowing about it?
Yeah.
So that's another thing that's overrated. I've realized that, while I'm working and in one day I can burn up to 3,000 calories. So I can eat 6,000 calories and still lose weight. Like everybody's body is different. So that's why in a way it wouldn't be bad to track them, because you can realize how much of a deficit am I in. And once you play it by ear, and it wouldn't be bad to track at first just to realize what I need a day.
Mm-hmm.
But once you figure that out, you should be smooth sailing, because you should know your body. You should know,
Mm-hmm.
How do I feel before and after a workout? Do I need to adjust my carb intake or my protein? Should I eat an hour or 2 hours before a workout? I mean, some days I'll eat, 2 hours before a workout and still feel bloated and terrible. In other days, if I hadn't ate a whole lot, I mean, I could eat 15 minutes before a workout and feel fine. It's just, it's every day is different. That's why I tell people.
So we do have a question for you already. It says, I have a random question. It says, does he drink regular milk or milk alternative?
No, alternative. Everyone thinks almond milk's good, which it has its benefits. But if you look at the sugar content in it and how it's processed, I would always go with 2% milk. And I think that has enough protein in it, and it's deprived of enough sugar to not hurt you. Now, milk is not the greatest thing to have, but it's not something you have to lay off of completely either. So I tried almond milk for a while when I first got into fitness, and I didn't see any results from it. I mean, I guess if you're trying to lose weight quick and, you don't want that fat content, but I would say absolutely 2% milk over almond milk or cashew milk, or if it's processed like that, if it's not true milk from an animal, I just don't think it's good for you.
I've never seen anybody milk an almond.
Yeah, that's what I've always said. Like, you can't milk a peanut.
So you mentioned earlier that you started about the 7th grade. What got you started, and what made it click? Like, I'm one into fitness.
I was really bad into depression. Probably 4th, 5th grade. Didn't know what was wrong. Always had these intrusive thoughts, and that went all the way up into the 7th and 8th grade. And I mean, I still struggle with it today, but I remember, 7th grade, didn't want to go to school. I didn't want to leave my house. Mom didn't know what was wrong with me. Dad didn't know what was wrong with me. So I just decided, you know what, I'm gonna jog around the track after school, once a day, and 4 laps, 1 mile. I just got back into sports. I was playing football and basketball, so I realized that really helped me out. Like 2 hours of practice, my mind got cleared. I sweat, and my endorphins went up. Had more energy, natural mood. And then after that, I would jog a mile every day. And without really even realizing it, I realized that, I was getting up before my mom to go to school. I was going to bed at like 9 opposed to midnight, and, just dreading getting up the next day. And I still didn't realize it was from fitness. I didn't know what had changed. I'm like, well, maybe I'm just wore out from, football or basketball practice.
Yeah.
But I think jogging that mile really cleared my head. So that it all started with running, which I think is important. I mean, and there's different, you can want to have a nice 6-pack and, a good body, or you can just want to, get by in life and not be depressed and have a good health. And that's where jogging comes into. Like, I love jogging. I mean, I'll do that until the day I die, but my knees ain't getting any younger. So, I mean, I try to lay off of that a whole lot. That's why I bought the assault bike and the rower, which are, that'll make you sweat quicker than anything. But every now and then, just, run. If I'm in a bad mood, if work was tough, if lanes drive me crazy, I mean, I'll jog around Waverly and, 20 minutes, and it'll just completely change my day. And just
you still wear the
like
mask?
Not after having to wear one from COVID. I threw that thing away pretty quick, man.
Yeah.
I thought it looked cool, but yeah. And about the elevation mask is nice in a way, but it's also more gimmicky because it really can't mimic it. By the way, that people don't know, the elevation mask is going to mimic a higher altitude to where when you're wearing it, it's like you're on the Colorado Rockies running, and it makes you get deeper breaths. I'm going to suffocate you. In reality, all it really is a suffocation mask. I mean, it's good to wear it like the first 5 minutes of your workout to get your heart rate up. Because high heart rate, that's when you're going to burn fat. And that's when it comes to, like, what I'm saying, jogging around Waverly. If you don't want to get, good results, and if you want just a more clear mind and not really go for the appearance, like jogging every day is going to help you out tremendously. But I mean, you need that high intensity interval training to actually burn fat quicker. So I would say, 20 burpees, that's going to get your heart rate up quicker than, jogging for 2 hours. But the mental, with the effects of mental health, jogging can be much better. It's just what is your goal? I mean, everyone has a different goal.
And see, that's this question here from Erica is kind of hard to answer too, because it says, if I'm short on time and only have 30 to 40 minutes to work out, should I pick cardio or lift weights? And that's
it's everyone has a different goal. And I think that if you want results quicker, I would go like that high intensity interval training with exercises, like opposed to just cardio, like air squats. People don't realize if you do 20 or 30 of those and try to get it within a time frame, then do push-ups, and then just jog 15 or 20 yards in your driveway. Do that for 20 minutes or do that for 15 minutes as long as you can without stopping. And see how sore you are the next day. I mean, that can get you more results than going to a gym and doing a 2-hour circuit training. I mean, which you'll build muscle doing that. But I mean, if you're shocking your heart rate, you're burning fat quicker, and you can do it in 5 or 10 minutes. That's why CrossFit workouts, like it's a lot of those workout of the day. It's called a WOD. I mean, some of them don't last 4 or 5 minutes, and you'll be sore for days. It's just everything's in the right order. Like it's designed to beat you up really quick, and you'll see good results if you take care of yourself. And that's where CrossFitters, a lot of them, like if they go to a CrossFit gym, they'll run you into the ground if you don't have the proper nutrition, and that's where that comes into play. Like some CrossFitters look really good. Some of them look like they haven't worked out a day in their life because they only have half the aspect. They're only doing half of what you have to do, which is work out brutally, but not take care of yourself afterwards. So, I mean, it's 75% of what you're doing outside of a gym opposed to what you're doing in. A lot of people, they don't realize that either.
I forget the saying, how it goes. It's like you got to fix the spoon before. I forget. You got to have a good diet in order to, you're just wasting time if you don't really.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of people think, well, if I get 4 or 5 hours of sleep, I feel fine. But it's like, when I used to drink real hard on the weekends, I'd be like, well, I can do this, and I don't have hangovers. And I started, as I'm getting older, I'm 34 now. I mean, I hit my 30s, and I'm like, wow. I mean, I feel okay, but, I feel weak, and I feel lethargic, and I feel anxious. And that would go on for 3 or 4 days after, drinking a 6-pack, not, getting, demolished. It's just, you have no idea how much of a small alcohol content can really, really ruin your week when it comes to wanting to get progress in the gym. People think they can get around it, but, I mean, I thought I could. But really, I mean, I always put myself a week behind. So, I mean, it's hard telling, and I've laid off, I've quit drinking, which really, really helped,
I bet.
I mean, just inflammation's down. I'm not sore. Mood's better. Just everything.
I would say probably not just your diet, but just overall, just that not
general
drinking.
health.
It's just, yeah.
Everyone thinks, and, having a glass of wine every now and then ain't bad. I mean, that's fine. I mean, having a beer with pizza or whatever, having some pizza, there's nothing wrong with that. It's high in carbs.
Right.
There's a time and place for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right after a workout, you don't like, it goes back to saying, don't go on this crash diet and just completely try to go vegan or completely cut something out. You can reward yourself every now and then. I'll eat, Casa del Taco a day or 2 a week. I mean, as long as you're doing it at the right time, there's nothing wrong with that.
That's one thing is like, nobody's perfect. Everybody's going to fall off the wagon, however you want to say it, eventually. So it's like, it's the matter of turning a cheat day into a cheat week is what some people do. And then they just give up.
Yeah. And that's self-discipline. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with having fast food every now and then. But, I noticed after, like, for example, I quit drinking pop. And it was probably 7 years since I had one. So I just tried to drink a Mountain Dew one day just to drink it.
Yeah.
And all it tastes like was sugar water. Like it made me sick to my stomach. Same thing with bad eating. Like I want to eat terrible all the time, but if I do, once I'm okay. But if I do that throughout the day, I'll also notice how my mood's bad. My mood goes down. My anxiety gets worse. I sweat differently. It's just everything feels different. So I mean, people don't realize that. And there's another concept that, well, and a lot of fitness trainers teach us, and it is proven that once you get the body you want, you can eat what you want as long as you're staying under that calorie ratio. I don't agree with that because, I mean, mentally, you're not going to be there. You're going to be struggling. I mean, it's not as fun. I mean, there's, like I said, there's a time and place for bad eating. Like Subway. Subway is not healthy. The bread is considered cake by the FDA, and a lot of people don't realize that. They think eat fresh. It's you probably be better off eating a piece of cake than you would a $5 footlong or a $9 footlong now.
Yeah, it's not $5. Yeah.
Yeah, I found that shocking when they said that they can't consider the bread. They have to consider it cake because of the sugar content in it. So I mean, you just have to look at the labels. You know what I mean? Stay away from trans fat, transgressional fat. That's
they beat in your head about the whole eat fresh, and they're making millions or billions doing it. Have you ever watched Super Size Me 2?
I have.
Have you? Part 2 where
I watched the first one, but
the first one. Have you seen the second one?
Is that the one about the chicken?
Yes.
See, I've seen reviews or previews on it, but I haven't.
You need to watch. I don't want to give away what the whole story turns into, but it was so good when you see it all happen and come together at the end.
Right.
It
It's the
just
same
blows
guy,
your.
right?
It shows. Yes, same guy.
Yeah.
He actually opened a restaurant in Columbus.
Really, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Now, I watched the first one, and I was almost pissed off at it. I'm like, dude, stop. You know what I mean? You're going to die.
Yeah.
People don't realize, like I said, once a week, twice a week, not a big deal. But when you're putting that in your body constantly, you don't realize how processed food is terrible. That's another thing. Stay away from TV dinners. I don't care if it's lean cuisine, and they say it's not. It's processed. And if you watch documentaries on Netflix, there's one, I forget what it's called, where it goes through that whole cycle of how food is made. It will make you sick to your stomach, and it's you have to watch out with what you eat. That's what cancer. You didn't see that 50 years ago. You didn't see someone with cancer back in the 60s or 70s. It started when processed food. It's got to be something in the air. Everyone thinks it's the A-plant. Something in the air. It's really like processed food. I mean, that's what's causing it. You'd be surprised at what with what you're eating, and you think it's healthy.
I mean, what everybody thinks is healthy. That movie, it'll blow your mind. Like literally, they take chicken breasts and paint burn marks on it and tell everybody that it's healthy because it's grilled, and people just are devouring it because they say it's healthy.
All you have to do is break the chicken open and look in it and know that it's not grilled. You know what I mean? It's sickening. People make millions of dollars off that.
Oh yeah. It says another random question: have you ever tried yoga?
I do yoga, and I was going to get into that. I've been doing that for about 3 years now since I started competing in CrossFit because I was sore every day, even taking care of myself. Still struggle getting up out of bed sometimes for work because my legs were just demolished. CrossFit, like you're doing like when I was competing every day, because they say you want to do different muscles every day. You want to give your body 48 hours to heal, and I think that's true, especially when you're a natural athlete. You can't do. Some people think you can do like squats 2 days in a row. Sometimes I guess it depends on the person. Maybe you can, but I mean, CrossFit wise, like I would do squat cleans one day, then I would come in the next day and have to do something like back squats. I mean, it's working. Your legs are constantly dying. It felt like. So I found something called ROMWOD, ROMWOD, ROMWOD.com. It's basically the concept of yoga, where they're going to put you in a position for 3 or 4 minutes at a time, probably 5 or 6 poses for about 20, 25 minutes total. I would do that before bed, and I would wake up feeling like a brand new person. And I was not sore. You'd be surprised just how much stretching out your fascia would just completely change everything. And, So yoga is definitely, and that's a sport all by itself. If you do yoga every day, mentally, that's going to change everything. So, I mean, I'm a big advocate on yoga. Definitely.
So, walk me through the process of someone's watching this and they say, okay, I want Cody to be my personal trainer. What do they do? How do they get a hold of you? What kind of program do you try to set up? I mean, what do you do?
It all depends on what, a lot of people just go by the book, but I just go by how I've done it all my whole life, which is, you learn by what you do and you see what works and you stick with it. Everybody's different. And I've been in all stages of appearance. Like I've been overweight. I've been halfway fit. Feel like I'm totally fit now. So I can judge, what was I doing then and what am I doing now? So if the person comes to me and they're, they haven't worked out a day in their life, well, I know what to put you through because I was there at one point. You know what I mean? I'm not going to read a book that tells me the anatomy of what I should teach you. I'm going to do what worked for me.
Right.
And I think that, beginner, just get a hold of me. By the way, if you want to text me, my number is 740-222-9968. I do, during the week, training courses by the session at my house. Right now, the rate's $30 an hour, which some people think, well, that's ridiculous. But I mean, the average personal trainer in town probably charges 50 or 60. So it's really not that much. If you go to a game and you buy a beer, it's probably $12. So you buy 3 of those without a problem. What's wrong with to working out? I mean, everyone, is it worth it to you? You know what I mean?
Right.
Or get on Facebook, Cody Penn, and my profile picture is a picture of me and my son. Or like you've advertised my Instagram, Cody.Penn.5. And, I've had up to 15 clients at one point, all the way down to 2, like we talked about. It's a fad.
Right.
Some people are really into it, and they want to do it for a few weeks to make themselves feel better, and some people's completely invested in it. And what I tell people is like, you don't need me for very long. You just need to get
Get you on the program.
Get you what you need to know. Like, do you need to do split body training, or do you just want to, jog around and, make yourself feel mentally better? And that's totally fine. You don't need to go through hell just to have that general wellness of, the feeling of wellness. And that's what's changed for me is, 10 years ago, I just wanted to be jacked. And I wanted to blow my body up and look as good as possible at all times. Now that I'm getting a little older, I realize that it's about, I want to feel good. I want to be able to get up next day, and I want to live long to watch my son grow up.
Yeah.
So my dad, we talked about, he drowned and he was an athlete. He was the only All-American honorable mention in, I think, Scioto County history in football. Hell of an athlete. Never took care of himself. I mean, he was 17 years old smoking. I mean, cigarettes, playing football.
Yeah.
So up until, fitness is really important to me now because, like I said, 4 years ago, he drowned in a canoe accident. So in my head, it's like I have to be on tip-top shape because I don't want that to happen to me.
Right.
So I was at the YMCA, I would swim for 45 minutes a day, and that fills up. Swimming, if you can get yourself to a pool, that's all workout all by itself. You can just do that, and you can sleep good at night. You're going to stretch your muscles out, and you're going to build muscles. That's why people like Michael Phelps look so good. They swim their whole lives. They're basically amphibians. They don't need to get to a gym. I mean, fitness comes in all different levels. Just do burpees in your garage, or do burpees in your and look up a burpee if you don't know what that is. Do that in your driveway. You know what they are. And or just get an ab mat for $10 on Amazon and put it on your porch and do 20 or 25 sit-ups to start out with. A lot of people, when they get trained by me or anyone, they're intimidated. They think that they're going to come the first day and die. Yeah. We go by what you look like. We go by what your goals are, and we go with what your fitness level is at that time. I've come in, and some people, I teach them how to walk on top of a 20-inch box. For some people, that's torturous. They're like, shit, I can't do that every day. Do it for one day, and you wake up. If you come back, 2 weeks after that, they're jumping on the box. But then again, I have people who come here. They're already athletes. They just want to excel themselves. So, I mean, we'll whip out the assault bike or the rower, and we'll go, balls to the wall as long as they want. I mean, it's just, what level of fitness are you?
Yeah.
And like I said, that's what ruins a lot of people's motivation is when they think they're intimidated at a gym. They go to a gym, they see people that's been there for 5 years straight, and they don't look like that. So they give up early. That's another thing by sometimes working out at your house or just with, a very limited number of people is important and beneficial because you're not intimidated. You're in that little circle. You can do it at your house, and you can get in, but you don't have to go anywhere, and it gives you more motivation knowing you're not going to waste that much time. So yeah, I mean, it absolutely just we do that for an hour. I have a complete setup here. It's really nice. It's helped a lot of people out. I enjoy working out outside. That's what we usually do. We're usually outside, and if you're getting sunlight while you're working out, there's no better feeling. Yeah. So I've learned that. When I was going through bad mental times, with anxiety and depression, just getting out and jogging around the YMCA track, around the pond, or just walking outside. I mean, it's crucial. That's fitness. I mean, you're going to be surprised at how many calories you're burning by just walking a half mile. I mean, it makes a big difference.
So you just do the hourly. You don't have a monthly package.
I don't. This COVID has changed so much. So, I mean, I was going to do a pro rate thing, but with I have a full-time job, like I said. So I mean, sometimes I get mandatory overtime, and
right.
So it's just if I did that, I'd always have someone there
trying to work around their schedule and your schedule.
Yeah, and that's tough.
Yeah, that's true.
It's worth it. It's worth it for the people who want to do it.
Right.
It's frustrating for the people who don't. So It's a love-hate relationship, but when you see someone say, hey, thank you, I thought that this was going to be a lot harder than what it was, but man, it's really helped me out in the long run. That makes everything worth it.
I tell you, the best thing that I love when I got a hold of you and I said, send me some pictures, so I could make that video that I made for you.
Right.
And I had to break them up into two because you sent, and I couldn't cut them out. There were so many good ones.
Yeah.
But I'm going to tell you, the best ones you sent me is the video I want to play now for you.
Awesome.
Because I mean, that just shows me who you are, not just Cody, the CrossFit guy. This is the father part. I want to show everybody this part here.
Let's take a look. way down. Come on. Don't jerk either. There you go. Don't jerk. Stay straight. There you go. What advice is that? That's not 10. Keep going. Keep going. He's gonna be a little monster. Keep going. Rest. That's not how that machine works, folks. Alright. Close enough.
Oh, what happened here? What did I do? Hold on, I lost my sound. What the heck happened? I can't hear you, Cody. What the heck happened? I lost all sound. No. I can't hear you, Cody. Okay, so it's you. I lost your sound. Maybe try leaving and come right back. All right, he'll be right back. I lost sound there. Can you guys hear me okay? I turned up my sound. I still want to keep my sound down, but I'm pretty sure. Okay. He'll be right back, Grandma's Gamers. He had to leave because we lost his sound there for a second. Okay. There we go. Now I can hear you.
Yeah, we're back. Sorry about
Yes.
that. Don't get Spectrum Internet because I had to go redo my route.
Unfortunately, that's who I have. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, the video, man, that almost made me teary-eyed. And
I know. I love it.
I'll tell you, having kids completely changes you for the better, and it's a stressful blessing because there's no better feeling than seeing having your son call you dad, and that's when you know that you're ready to be a parent. Is when you love being called dad, and I couldn't imagine not wanting to have my child because I know a lot of people they don't want to see their kids, but he's my best friend, and he absolutely changed me for the better. And going to fitness, a lot of that was at CrossFit Incognito. They have kids classes, and it helped him out because I said, he's starting to have the cycle of OCD and anxiety that I had when I first noticed it when I was 7 or 8, and I can start seeing that out of him. That's why I want him to be active early, and I think it's good for him because I know what he's going through, and I can really diagnose quick what I have to do to keep his mind off of it. So. He just fishes during the summer, though. So in a way, that's a sport. I mean, you're out in the sun, and you're concentrated on one thing, and you're not thinking about other things. So
and he's not got his face buried in his phone,
And when it goes to organized sports, if I could take it back, and I mean, I had a lot of fun. I played college football at Wilmington for a little bit, and high school was a blast. I would almost not have played just because of all the injuries and all the concussions and everything that's happened, for nothing. I learned a lot about life doing that. I learned a lot, from coaches and being a team and everything. But when it comes down to it, I wish I had just kind of picked up a guitar when I was younger and just did fitness on my own. And that probably would have, and I don't condemn people not to do sports, but I mean, and Lane, if he want, I want him to play football. If he wants to do it, awesome. But I mean, if you don't, hey, I don't see football being the same 5-10 years from now anyway. Like, I don't see too many concussion protocols. CTE is a big thing in the news. I mean,
you can't touch people.
You can't touch. Like with John Gruden right now, the NFL's under scrutiny. I don't think that, I think all this is going to keep happening. And I think eventually that company will get ran into the ground. And I feel bad for
Yeah.
John because I know he don't mean what he said, but he said what he said.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah.
gotta get rid of him, man. I mean,
And that was years and years ago.
now,
It's-
now they're saying, it could be up until 2018. I mean, he's
Yeah.
been saying some of this stuff. So I mean,
yeah.
it just goes to show what people's true colors are when they're off camera. I mean,
yeah. Yep.
But yeah, I mean, having a child, and if they want to work out, I mean, everyone thinks there's a certain age you need to start. There's not. I mean, maybe for building muscle, you don't want to be 12 or 11 years old trying to get your child jacked. But
Yeah.
just jogging around with them, or having them do like I'll have Lane. I'll make him do like 2 workouts before we go fishing.
Mhm.
It makes a big difference for his day. I can see his attitude better. I can
Yeah.
see his general wellness of health be better. So
Mhm.
he eats terrible.
Good.
So I mean, I have to do something. He lives off Lunchables and McDonald's. So,
Chicken nuggets.
yeah, Happy Meals. But I mean, I really can't tell him not to because I did the same thing when I was younger. So enjoy
yeah.
while you can. I mean, because when
Yeah.
you get older, it don't feel too good.
No, I know. I feel completely different if I have to break down because what sucks is at Lutz, if I forget my lunch, I'm really limited. Like literally in our parking lot is a KFC and Taco Bell.
Yeah.
There's a McDonald's right beside us. It's like
Yeah.
I'm kind of stuck. I mean, it sucks.
Yeah, I mean, and that's where companies get you. I mean, they'll put something right by. They're all in it together, and I relate. Like a lot of times I'll pack 2,000 calories worth of food and have it 8 by 7 a.m. So then what am I going to do?
Yeah.
So Walmart distribution has their own little cafe. I mean, so you're spending more money. You're eating stuff that's going to make you feel like shit the whole day, but you don't.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd rather do that than be hungry.
Yeah.
So meal prepping, I mean, people think it's expensive. It's really inexpensive. If you go to like Kroger or Walmart and buy a log of ground turkey, which is probably $5 for the 93% lean, you can make 4 meals out of that. Add some brown rice with each one of them. The content on the back, I think, what is it? 60 or 70 carbs in a bag of rice. So split that in 3s and put it with your meat. I mean, it's little things like that. And that's $8.
It's getting people to do that, making them get the motivation because do you want to meal prep or do you want to run through the drive-thru and get a cheeseburger?
I promise you. And people think meal prepping takes hours. It takes me 15 minutes to get 2 days worth of food cooked. And all you got to do is throw it in some Tupperware and you're good to go. And you'd be surprised at how much more natural energy you get just by eating a little bit better. It's coffee. I think coffee is important in the morning. It's a good antioxidant. It's good for your kidneys.
I can't drink it.
I love black coffee. I
love the smell of coffee, like going through Tim Hortons or whatever, but I just can't. I don't like the taste of it.
Gives you dry. Yeah, it can give you dry mouth. I mean, it does have disadvantages, but I've learned like a big cup of coffee in the morning just makes my day go by a lot better. People think coffee. Don't add a shit ton of creamer with it. I mean, and you'll be fine. A lot of people go to Tim Hortons and they'll drink one of those like 30-gallon. I love my ice caps, but I mean, you look at the contents on what you're actually putting in your body to start your day, to fire your metabolism up. You really need just some oatmeal. People think oatmeal is bad. It's really not. I mean, just don't eat a huge serving of it. Eat a blueberry waffle and some oatmeal in the morning.
Even those little cups of oatmeal if you have, if you can't get up early enough,
A lot of people fast, and at first I'm like, why would you starve yourself to want to? But I've noticed that if I don't eat when I wake up and I'm not that hungry, so I don't eat and I'll do my workout first, I feel really good. So I do think there is some truth to that when it comes to feeling sharper and just feeling overall better. But when you get the problem with fasting is when you get hungry, you still don't eat. That's where I think we're maybe taking pre-workout, like caffeine, like this pre-workout. That's another thing. If you have anxiety, if you're having trouble sleeping, if you're not feeling good, you should not be taking that. There's a lot of beta-alanine in it, niacin. I mean, it's going to make your blood pressure higher. It does curb your appetite, and a lot of people want that. So if I have, pre-workout in the morning, I'm not hungry till 5 in the evening. So, I mean, and that can mess with it because then you're waking up at, midnight wanting to eat 2,000 calories to make up for everything. So everything is good in cycles and moderation and doing it at the right time. So, So fasting, I mean, people want to do that, and there's a lot of science behind it that, don't eat for 20 hours and eat, 4. That's good for someone who don't work and who has sponsors and who's a professional athlete. Well, maybe you can get on board with that. But when life comes and you work a 12 or 14 or an 8-hour shift, you just can't do that. You know what I mean?
No.
It's almost impossible. You're going to drive yourself crazy doing it.
Yeah, I mean, when you mentioned science, a big part. I've seen so many things that are backed by science, and it's mind blowing of some of this crazy diets and crazy fads like you talked about earlier
Yeah.
that are out there. I even seen this one. I think it was called the snake diet. I don't. Have you heard of that one?
Run me by that. I don't think I know that.
I can't remember exactly how it goes, so I don't want to tell you wrong. But it was a matter of almost fasting. You only eat like literally one time a day, and
Yeah.
it's this little tiny thing. But then they started talking about how you got to drink your own pee and all that. And I'm like, all right, I'm out. That's enough.
That's survival technique, and there is some
Yeah.
people that swear by that. And I
Yeah,
never tried it. I haven't had to so far, thank God. But yeah, I mean that's. If you watch people get on Joe Rogan and watch some of his podcasts,
Yeah.
he has a lot of
Mhm.
fitness experts on there who are really knowledgeable on
Mhm.
thinking like, well, a lot of people work out, and I don't have time to do this, but it does make sense where you take like 5 minutes in between each workout to just not feel sore. So you
Mhm.
finish a workout by taking so much time between sets. You wake up the next day not sore at all because you gave your body throughout that workout. But I mean, that just don't go with natural logic to a person who has a job or someone
Mhm.
who like I get it if you're if you're LeBron James and you have 23 hours out of the day to do something like that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different people have a lot of different perspectives on what is the best way to do fitness, and like I said, it just depends on who you are. I mean,
Yeah.
I've seen a lot better results from doing CrossFit type workouts than I have being in a gym like SNS doing circuit training all day. Some people, vice versa. It depends on how you grow. Genetics are a huge part.
They are.
I've never took like anabolic steroids, and people think they think I have, but it's like if you see my dad when he was 25 or 26, and he
Mhm.
didn't diet, smokes 2 packs a day, and drinks whiskey sometimes, a lot of times. I mean, and he was jacked. He didn't have to even
Yeah.
have to eat anything. So I mean, it just depends on who you are. I mean, it really
Yeah.
does. So
Now people can go get genetic tests if they want to find out if they're like 'cause,
absolutely, a lot of people have like Mongolian blood in them, to where if they drink a fifth a night, they don't have any kind of side effects because they're just prone to and their
Mhm.
ancestors could do that.
Yeah.
Everyone, it sucks. I mean, I wish I was that I mean, I wish I had the kind of genetics, but I don't. But yeah, I mean, you see all these guys that they're go to Mr. Olympia, the bodybuilders.
Mhm.
They think, well, they must have juiced. I'm sure
Yeah.
they juice hard. I mean, don't get me
Mhm.
wrong. I mean, people are naive thinking you can do that from dieting. There's a certain limit, but you have to have good genetics too. I've seen
Yeah.
people at certain gyms take Trinabol or certain steroids and think, well, I'm going to be jacked out of the gills in 6 months. All they do is ruin their lives because they might get close to the someone who's has really good peak genetics naturally, but they can think in their head, well, I want to get 3 or 4 times bigger than this person, when in the end all they do is have bad acne and they look less good than someone who has good peak genetics naturally. So I mean,
Mhm.
it's a head game, and
Yeah.
I don't recommend doing anything like that because it's just going to drive your mental state down. Unless you're getting paid to do it, I don't see why you'd want to be the fittest person in Waverly or Chillicothe. They don't pay very good. You know what I mean?
No.
So
And sort of in that line there, I always wonder why, because you're a big wrestling fan.
oh
And
yeah. By
and-
the way, the Lane Tag Team Champions, I like that. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
and I got my Macho Man shirt on. You can't really see it, but
Oh yeah.
you know,
yeah.
there's a picture in one of the one you sent me. I swear to God, it's Shawn Michaels right there beside you when you're standing on your hands. You go
Yeah.
back and look at it. It looks like Shawn Michaels.
That's my idol, by the
But-
way, and that's why everyone's like, was it Kobe Bryant? Was it was it Michael Jordan? Was it Emmett Smith? I'm like, no, it was Shawn Michaels. I mean,
Mhm.
and everyone laughs. And I'm like, when I was younger and I was 8 or 9, struggling with getting picked on in school, overweight, I would watch WWF Monday Night Raw
Oh,
and
yeah.
watch Shawn
Oh, yeah.
Michaels. It was 96, so he was champion at the time, and that's what
Yeah.
the new generation, and that's what really kickstarted me into wanting to do better in life. It just
Mhm.
and I wish I could meet him because I still haven't yet.
Oh,
but that's
yeah.
a bucket list thing to do because
Yeah.
that dude saved me from a lot, and he don't even realize it. And
Yeah.
everyone says he was a prick back in the day, and I'm sure he was, but it did a lot for me, man. I mean, wrestling is why I started fitness. I shouldn't have left that out, but yeah, I wanted to.
Yeah.
I started doing CrossFit because I wanted to go to NXT, and I wanted to, this was before Lane was born. So
Mhm.
when kids come, plans change. But I mean, yeah, and I'm 34 now, so I mean, really, if you want to be a professional wrestler, you better start when you're in your early 20s. So.
Yeah, I mean that's what I was going to ask. Is I always wonder why you never, because
Yeah.
I mean, you definitely are in shape. You
I
definitely
love-
are athletic. It would have been cool to see someone from here
It would have been
being
awesome.
something like that. I mean, you could definitely do it.
I talked to Bobby Fulton, and he was in the Midnight Express, and he has a
Mhm.
promotion out of Chillicothe.
Right.
Big time.
I go to those all the time.
Big
Yeah.
time. So Big Time was going to train me a couple years ago, and I just never got. My job's changed. I got divorced. Just it kind of fell on the back burner, but it's still something I think about. You know, what I mean,
You still could. I mean,
yeah. Diamond Dallas Page. I mean, he was 35 before he ever stepped foot in the wrestling ring and wrestled.
Wow.
You know what I mean, it's he was a manager up until then. They laughed at him. So he
I mean, you go to some of these places around here, they'll have them at like the festivals or whatever, and you see these guys in there that are out of shape or no business being in the ring.
No business. And everyone thinks, well, it don't matter what you look like, which it don't if you have good talent. But
I mean, you could have a good, in-ring gimmick or whatever. And
I go to CM Punk. I mean, he changed the game for a lot of people. A lot of people like him because he's not your typical looking.
No, he's not the big muscle. And
neither was Sean or Bret Hart back in the day. And that's where it goes to like Sean. Swears up and down he's never took any performance enhancing drugs in his life, and I mean maybe to an extent. I don't think he did it as hard as most of them did, but he was proof that you don't have to be you don't have to be Jim Hellwig, the Ultimate Warrior size, to draw a crowd, and that's what kept my why more or less I want to be an athlete more than look good and be a bodybuilder. And that's,
the big guys, that doesn't mean they're always going to be great at WWE. I mean, look at someone like Ryback or something like, I mean,
Rusev. I mean, it just depends. Yeah, you can hide behind that gimmick for a couple months.
It gets old.
People figure you out, like the Ultimate Warrior. You did the splash, the 30-second Goldberg. Hate Goldberg. Man.
Goldberg. He's got one or two moves, and it just gets old. Same
and he's
gimmick
still around.
Over. Yeah, he still is. Yeah,
it's
making money.
Yeah, and he went over. I mean, back in the late '90s, man, that was he was jacked. He admits to doing steroids, but I mean, you had to be stupid to know someone that big and freakish looking wasn't taking something. But he was a hard worker. But I mean, when it comes to wrestling, just terrible, dude. But you made money doing it. The Rock, never a fan of him either. But I mean, has the look.
And he's got the money, and he's
it pisses me off because they do train hard. I mean, I like Seth Rollins. I've talked to him a few times. Me and him, we do CrossFit, and I beat him in 2018 in one of the events, and that made my life. And, because he's such a good athlete. They call him CrossFit Jesus. I mean, don't like what they're doing with him right now, but I mean, he with Raw and WWE's just terrible all around right now.
It is.
But yeah, Seth. I mean, he tries to go to the CrossFit Games every year. He's a religious exerciser. I mean, you have to be in tip-top shape mentally and physically to do something like wrestling, any kind of wrestling, any level of wrestling. That's why, I mean, it's something I still think about. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And Lane's getting older now to where maybe I could do it. So while I'm still healthy, you never know, I like going to the Arnold Classic, and they have, WWE and NXT there. And I met Charlotte Flair one year, and I thought that was really cool.
Yeah,
she held Lane when he was 2. It was cool. It was before she got really big too. But I mean, her background's gymnastics and yoga. And she's a personal trainer, Charlotte Flair. And so most of these WWE wrestlers, they're in the fitness or some kind of sport before they're wrestlers. And that's where all these people you see who have no business being in the ring, they just want to be wrestlers. And then they come they come out of their house one day out of grandma's basement and just say, well, let's make a ring. And, I want to be an indie. I want to work an indie show. And some of them make it, some of them don't. So, I mean, all the power to them. But that's a sport I always wanted to try. Yeah.
I think you would have been great at it. Or you still can. I mean, I
you never know. You never know.
Yeah. Well, I don't think we'll get into football because we've been on here already for an hour, and I've got another meeting at 9. So
I'll come back to you on one of these Tuesdays, and especially when the Ravens and Browns get.
Yep.
And by the way, guys, I'm not a bandwagon fan. I've been a Ravens fan for since I was 14. I had to go through a lot of bad years.
Way back when they stole the team from Cleveland. Way back then,
man. Yeah, I thank Modell for that, not me. So.
Yeah. But no, I really thank you for being on here and giving us all of that great information. That's great. I hope everybody got at least something out of it.
Yeah, me too. And in closing, I just want to say to anyone listening, struggling, I mean, just wake up another day, get outside. It gets better. It gets better before it gets worse. And not necessarily. It can get worse before it gets better, but it does get better. Like there's always an end game in a good way. Just stay positive. So.
Yep.
But Dennis, I appreciate your time, man.
Oh, no problem, man.
Anyone wants to get a hold of me, I'm on Facebook or Instagram, and I gave my number out, and I hope I was informative to some people.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to play the video one more time for the sponsor. So I'll see everybody next Tuesday. We got the baseball playoffs we're going to be covering then, and we'll cover football too. So Cody, you're more than welcome to come over next Tuesday or whatever Tuesday you want. I'll add you to the Facebook group. It kind of keeps everybody informed of when the guests are going to be on and everything. So we'll get you on that.
Sounds good, Dennis, man.
So,
And hey,
right.
haven't really been following baseball. I've seen Boston advance. Who?
Boston advanced. They're going to be playing Houston because Houston just advanced right as we were on air.
I was watching
So-
some of that game, so yeah, I'm gonna have to
Yeah.
get caught back up on that. The Reds didn't make it, man. It kind of made
No,
me.
Boston and Houston, and then in the other one you've got the Giants. They could move on tonight against the Dodgers, and
Ooh,
then
really? I predicted Dodgers go to the World Series. So.
oh shoot, the other one is Atlanta and Milwaukee. I don't know who won that game, but Atlanta's up 2-1, pending whatever happened today.
Yeah, I need to get on my app and check that out. So, all
Yeah.
right, man, I appreciate it. But
All
yeah,
right.
I'll be on one of these Tuesdays, and like I
No
said,
problem.
anyone listening, get a hold of me, and we'll figure something out.
All right, you have a good one, Cody.
All right, Dennis, I appreciate
Thanks.
it,
No problem.
man. Later, man.
Is how you play the game.
Well, that guy is just literally yeeting himself around here, okay? Hey, bruh!
That's it, Gary.
There you go, guy in tower's dead.
Tough battle.
Get him. Got him. Beautiful.
Why are the fireworks still shooting at me? Is this entertainment for the penguins?
Move on, Daddy.
Oh my god, I missed!
You fucking threw it on the wall.
Dude, shut up. I know.
You threw it on the wall.